Welcome back to a midnigjt Gaming, where today we're opening up 3 packs of Midnight Hunt set boosters. Each pack's going to have a foil and an art card. Thank you for watching, and without further ado, let's pop her open. Art card. Seth the Viper's Fang by Igor Kurluk. Number 53 out of 81. Swamp. Revenge of the Drowned costs 3 and a blue for an instant. Target creature's owner puts it on top of or at the bottom of their library. You create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with decay. Decay can't block, and it has to be sacrificed after it attacks at the end of the combat step. Organ Hoarder costs 3 and a blue for a zombie. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. It has a 3/2 body. Harvest Tide Sentry costs 1 and a green for a creature that's a human warrior. Has covering, so that means it has to have a power of 3 different powers on there on the board. If you do, Sentry can't be blocked by creatures with a power of 2 or less this turn. Has a 3/1 body. Ritual Guardian costs 2 and a white for a human soldier that also has covering. If you have covering, Ritual Guardian gains lifelink until end of turn. Has a 3/2 body. First uncommon is Sacred Fire. Costs a red and a white. Sacred Fire deals 2 damage to any target, and you gain 2 life. Has a flashback, cost of 4, a red and a white. Flashback is when you can end up playing it for your graveyard. If you do that, you exile that card. Sunrise Cavalier costs 1, a red and a white for a human knight. Has trample and haste. If it's neither day or night, it becomes day as it enters the battlefield. Whenever it becomes day, becomes night, or night becomes day, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature you control. Has a 3/3 power. So with day, it also goes based off the person that's the primary player. So if I'm the primary player and the opponent tries playing something during my turn, it won't count towards anything, but it counts the spells that I do it. So to transform it from day to night, you have to play no spells, and to switch it from night to day, you have to play 2 spells. Bird of Mire costs 2 and a green, and it has reach. In the day-bound side, it's a 1/4, but the werewolf switch over to the Winged Shredder. It has Nightbound, and it has reach. It's a 3/5. We have a Gale Drifter Hippogriff. It's flying. Costs us 3 and 1 blue for a 3/2, but it also has a Disturb cost. So Disturb is something where I can end up playing that from the graveyard, and then if I do, we flip it to the other side. Talking about the other side, we'll flip her over to the Wall Drifter. It's a Hippogriff Spirit, flying, and if it goes into the graveyard, we exile it instead. Has a power toughness of 2. We have a Spell Ruin Painter that costs us 2 and a red for a human shaman werewolf. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, the painter gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And the day-bound side is a 2/3. And on the night-bound side, it becomes the Spell Ruin Howler. It's a creature werewolf, and when you cast this instant or sorcery spell, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. It's a 3/4. That's the special frame that they have from the set. And then we have the Overslime. Costs 1, a green, and a blue. It's a legendary creature ooze. Trample, and whenever a land is put into the graveyard from anywhere, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Remove 3 +1/+1 counters from it, and return it to its owner's hand. When it leaves the battlefield, return up to 3 target land cards from your graveyard to your hand. It's a 3/3 power and toughness. Oh snap! We have a foil Desert Beach. It's a land full art. As it enters the battlefield, tapped, unless you control 2 or more lands. It's a taps for a blue or a white. And then we have a Stone Giant. Costs 2 red and 2 for a giant. Tap it, target creature you control with a power or toughness less than Stone Giant's power gains flying until end of turn. Destroy that creature at the beginning of the next end step. It's a 3/4. Pack 1 with a nice little surprise. Let's see if we have any more tricks in our sleeves. Full art card. Or I should say, art card. That is Overgrown Farmland by Jonas D. Rowe. It's number 74 out of 81. We have the Forest. Stolen Vitality costs 1 and a red. For an instant, target creature gets a +3/+1 until end of turn. If it's your turn, that creature gains trample until end of turn. Otherwise, it gains first strike until end of turn. Midnigjt Blood Rush costs 2 and a red. It's an instant. This spell costs 1 less if you control a vampire. It deals 1 damage to a target creature and 1 damage to its controller. Draw a card. Arrogant Outland or Outlaw costs 2 and a black for a vampire noble. When it enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. It's a 3/2 body. Return to Nature costs 1 and a green. Choose 1. Destroy a target artifact, destroy a target enchantment, or exile a target card from a graveyard. First uncommon, it's Bloodtooth Collector. Costs 4 and a black for a vampire noble. Flying. It's a 3/4 body. And when it enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, each opponent discards a card. Hunger for More costs a black and a red for a sorcery. Create a 3/1 black vampire creature token with trample, lifelink, and haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Has a flashback cost of 1 and a black. Vampire Socialite costs a black and a red for a vampire noble. Has menace. That means it has to be blocked by 2 or more creatures. When it enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each of the vampires you control. As long as an opponent lost life this turn, each vampire you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter. Has a 2/2 power toughness. Then the Transform card is a Harvestide Infiltrator. Costs 2 and a red for a human werewolf. Trample. And then on the day bound side, it's a 3/2. The night bound side is a Harvestide Assailant. Werewolf Trample, and it's a 4/4. And then we have a Shady Traveler. It's a human werewolf. That's menace. On the day bound side, it's a 2/3. And then the night bound becomes a Stalking Predator. It's a 4/4 with menace as well. Malevolent Hermit costs 1 and a blue for a human wizard. Pay 1, sacrifice it. Counter a target non-creature spell, unless its controller pays 3. Has a disturb cost of 2 and a blue. Has a base of 2 and 1, but over on the spirit side, It's midnigjt. It's a spirit wizard. Flying. Non-creature spells you control can't be countered. And if it was dealt damage and put in the graveyard, you have to exile it. Has a 2/2 body. Our foil is a Bird of Mire. Find a card from that pack. It's a transform card. There was no tricks or no treats out of that one. Let's see what comes out of this third and final pack. Coming out with the art card. Gadar Gold Collar of Nifal by Yunjie Chao. 36 out of 81. Foily Forest. Bat Whisperer costs 3 and a black for a vampire. When Bat Whisperer enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, create a 1/1 black creature token with flying. It's a 4/2 body. Vampire Interloper costs 1 and a black for a Vampire Scout. It can't block and it's a 2/1 body. Incetric Farmer costs 2 and a green for a Human Peasant. When it enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. Then you may return a land card from your graveyard to your hand. Has a 2/3 body. Evolving Wilds is a land. Tap it, sacrifice Evolving Wilds to search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, tapped, and then shuffle. Play with Fire costs 1 red. It's an instant. Play with Fire deals 2 damage to any target. If a player is dealt damage this way, scry 1. Unnatural Moonrise costs a red and a green for a sorcery. It becomes night until end of turn. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Has a flashback cost of 2 and a green and a red. Hound Tamer costs 2 and a green for a human werewolf that has trample. You can pay 3 and a green, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. On the daybound side, it's a 3/3. On the nightbound side, becomes an untamed pup. Gains trample. Wolves and werewolves that you control have trample. Has the same activated ability, and it's a 4/4. Drawnheart Mentor costs 2 and a green for a human warlock. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human creature token. If you have Covering, you could pay 5 and a green, and the target creature gets +3/+3 and trample until end of turn. Has a 0/4 body. Beloved Beggar costs 1 and a white for a human peasant. Has a disturb cost of 2 white and 4. Has a base of a 0/4. But on the disturb cost, it becomes a generous soul. Flying Vigilance, and if it would be dealt damage to be put into the graveyard, sacrifice it instead. Has a 4/4 body. You can't stay away. Costs a white and a black. It's a sorcery. Return a target creature card with a mana cost or mana value of 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. 8 gains. If this creature dies, it will exile it instead. Has a flashback cost of 3, a white, and a black. And then our foil is a Diagraph Horde. Costs 4 and a black for a zombie. When Diagraph Horde enters the battlefield, create 2/2 black zombie token with decay. When you do, exile up to 2 target creature cards or 2 cards from a graveyard. The final card is Day versus Night, the mini game. That was 3 packs. What'd you think about it? Let us know what you would pick down in the comments down below. If you're liking the content that we're putting out, like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon to be notified about any of our future content. Thank you for watching, and until next time, we'll see you later.